Folasade Scott here, broadcasting from Jamaica. I'm here just sharing with you how things went yesterday at the all-boys school, the high school, with the so-called at-risk students. These youth that I facilitated this workshop with were classified. They were set apart from the rest of the school population as people who are emotionally troubled as well as academically not doing so well. So during the summer, the guidance counselors and the Dean of Student Affairs put together a week of intervention for these boys, and I was a part of that. So at first I was going to have just about an hour and a half, but I was allowed a full 2+ hours to just freely share what I had to share and do activities with them and everything. And I tell you that the youth, you know, I like engaging on various levels. I enjoy sharing my own personal testimony and sharing with people what I like, what I'm interested in, and then getting to know them, knowing what they like and what they're interested in and what's on their heart. You know, what are the things that they have not been able to express that they would like to express. And these are the things that were done yesterday. So I shared with them music that I liked, and I shared with them music even that I made. And I think that actually intrigued and interested several of them because, number one, I'm a female, and they might have in their mind, you know, females don't really make beats on their computers or make their own music or whatever. Maybe they might have thought that, but with the others that I've shared my music with, it was these boys that actually showed some special interest, and I thought that that was really cool. I also shared with them a poem, and I'd like to share this poem with you. It's actually a signature poem for my life and ministry, I would say. It's called Original Self. Multiple masks and security blankets, creating perpetual bars around our innately creative minds, enslaving ourselves, beating ourselves with self-condemnation, damning ourselves to a cell with imaginary bars and imaginary locks, beating ourselves into submission, so low that we even place ourselves under our own feet while under the footstool of others. And I was a victim, and then I was the culprit because I knew no better. Talking demons used my father's lips to speak, keeping my eyes blindfolded with fear, ears plugged up so I couldn't hear the possible impossibilities God created me to create. Afraid to want to see what was in the darkness of unfamiliar. So many non-originals. Them non-originals run the place, but they're running in place. They're not going anywhere themselves because they strive and devise to keep others from going, but they create the face of society. They say, let's see, how can we form every human face while deforming it and defame them once they be given fame? The reality is that God created all of his originals famous, and we should all be each other's fan and lifetime supporter. But instead, the so-called powers that be rather be deforming and defaming and keeping folks from their original self because they have the wrong perception of themselves. I'd rather not waste my life like that. I'm beginning to taste life like this, savoring every delicious moment, even eat the bitter herbs and unpleasant bread of those difficult tasks and difficult people and haters along the way, seen and unseen, because they're good for me. I killed and buried a lie, those old masks that confined me, and love delivered me after years in labor, and love never fails, so I'll love myself more and more into existence. Nurture myself with the breast of my Father, El Shaddai, more than enough for me. Eat his words and digest them. Drink his thoughts and thirst no more. Seek his face and see mine. See his face and see hers, my sisters, and his, my brothers, more clearly. And so much more, I'll see mine. And that's Original Self. Did you enjoy that? I encourage you to send your feedback about that poem. Tell me if it encouraged you and how it encouraged you. Tell me if you could relate to anything that I said in the poem. With the group yesterday, the group of boys yesterday, they had different things that they could engage in. They could engage in the visual art by an activity I gave them where the topic was forgiveness, and I talked about anger, with that anger and resentment, and how anger can be detrimental to our hearts and our lives, and to other people's lives as well. And so we were talking about forgiveness, and I had them do a project where they could either write or even draw what they, number one choice they had was to think of somebody they needed to forgive them. They wanted this person's forgiveness. What was that like? Did they feel like they received forgiveness from them? Was it hard for them? Just share what that experience was like. They could even visually show that as well. And the other activity they had a choice to do was to write or draw what forgiveness or anger looked like to them, smelled like, tasted like, felt like. Okay, so they were able to express what that was like for them. Some people said anger tastes bitter. Somebody said forgiveness was like a walk on the beach with the roaring waves of the sea and walking with a nice girl. That's what forgiveness felt for them. Okay, somebody drew a picture of forgiveness where it was a kind of a relaxing kind of picture. One person drew basically a satisfied looking person. They drew a person on their page and wrote words to go along with their picture. And so different people engaged in different ways. And then at the very end, I shared with them a word of encouragement. Each of them got a little word of encouragement from me in an envelope. And they also received a little, what Jamaica calls a sweetie, which is a piece of candy. And I asked them in exchange for that to fill out a questionnaire for me. And this questionnaire was asking their name, asking how old they are, what grade they're in, what some things that they like and dislike about school, what some interests they have. And then they had some sentences to finish. I am angry at because I believe I'm listened to, heard, and taken seriously when. You know, so they were able to express themselves in that way. I feel guilty about. So whatever they wanted to share, they could do that. And then I asked them if they enjoyed the workshop and if they would like more workshops like this. And then I asked them at the very end, did they have any questions for me? If they had any questions or other comments that they wanted to share. And a lot of the students, now one would think they wouldn't do this, but a lot of the students did the survey, and I believe most of the students did the survey. And these are the not survey, questionnaire. This is the questionnaire here. And one of the questions I even asked them is you know, have they confessed Jesus as their Lord and Savior? You know, do they believe in God? Would they like to receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior? Mind you, these are Christian schools, and though all of the schools, though these schools are Christian, that doesn't mean that everybody there is a Christian, you know, but there are some people that want a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And so I wanted to give them the opportunity for that. You know, I did pray before and after the workshop and everything, but I wanted them to be open as much as they wanted to just share. And several of them either said that they had are Christian, or they wanted to receive Jesus as their Lord. You know, and others just said that they believed in God. But several of them had received Jesus as Lord or wanted to. So the beauty of these questionnaires is I can follow up with them and know more where their heart is. And others have expressed that they would like more workshops like this because they want to know how to be free from the troubles in their life. They don't want to hold unforgiveness. There was the guidance counselors I talked to yesterday said that, first of all, they were very energized as a result because they were there at the workshop as well. And they were saying that they appreciated the feedback from the students. They broke up into small groups at the end of the workshop and talked with their students. And all of them had something to say. I believe they all had something to say, but there were just two that said, I thought it was boring. Now, out of the many youth that were in that workshop, the various ones had something that they could take from it. And there were just two that said they thought it was boring. However, I'm not taking that to heart because some people will just, choose not to engage. But there was one youth that I heard about who seemed like he was kind of sleeping in the class, but he was the one that said that he appreciated something about being able to express himself in the workshop. There were three that said that the best part of the workshop they thought was being able to express themselves through writing, and specifically through the questionnaire. And then several of them said that they appreciated being able to express themselves through the writing, being able to just be asked what they thought and be able to express that. So that's a blessing. All right, so just wanted to give you that update. There's so much more to come. This is a great seed planted, and I encourage everybody here, again, please give into this good work. The goal for this month and what is needed right now is $2,500 US to take care of the needs of the ministry, take care of the needs of transportation, the rent, the utilities, the materials, various things of that nature. And you are necessary, okay? God works through you to be a blessing to this ministry and to others, and just basically help this work to keep on moving, okay? More updates to come. God bless you. And if there's any way in which I can pray for you, please send me an email. My email address is violencefaith@gmail.com, VIOLENTFAITH@gmail.com. Or you can go to my website and contact me there, and also look and see the things that Violent Faith Ministries is about at www.vfmintl.org. Or you can send me a voicemail message if you're in the U.S. at 866-829-5929. God bless you. Bye-bye.